Good evening and welcome to Wholesome Roots. Today I'm going to show you how I make my Monabars. Monabars are a slight variation of a more popular brand that starts with an L. The most crucial part of this recipe is the base of this recipe, and that is dates. You can buy organic pitted dates if you want. I went for the cheaper route and got the ones with pits, so I will just have to remove the pits. It's very easy. You just split down the side and the pit comes right out. It's a nice big pit, so it's not hard to take out. Your fingers get a little sticky, but it's nothing that I'm afraid of. So the first step for this recipe is going to be to pit my dates if they're not already pitted. Dates are very nutritious and very sweet, and they hold together this recipe completely. So the variations of this recipe can go on and on. Use your imagination to the fullest. Basic recipe for these bars is equal parts dates to whatever filling you're gonna do. Today, my filling is going to be coconut and chocolate. That's right, it's gonna be really good. I've also done a version of this where I used slivered almonds, and that was really yummy too. You can really be creative with this. You can put dried cranberries or raisins, anything that you want to do. But the first step is going to be to get your dates pureed. I'm using my Ninja blender. Not blender, food processor. So any type of food processor that you have should be able to do the job just fine. So it's a good idea to measure how much dates you have. Use at least a cup for this recipe, just to make sure that you're getting enough. But as long as you do the same amount as your other fillings as you do your dates, it'll come out just right. And you can always add more dates if you need to. So we're just going to blend up these dates real fast in the Ninja food processor. You see they form into a mass that holds itself together. It's like a paste. So I'm just gonna break up that ball a little bit throughout the food processor so that it's more evenly distributed. And then I'm gonna add my other ingredients. So my next ingredient is going to be some flaked coconut, adding equal amounts. So if you're doing a cup of dates, you're gonna do a cup of coconut. And then for a little extra flavor kick, I'm adding a non-dairy, low sugar chocolate bar. I've got to be careful with my sugar, and I'm not allowed to have any dairy besides my raw goat dairy. So for me, this is going to be perfect, and it is organic, fair trade. I also will add a teaspoon of cacao powder and a little bit of my leftover coffee grounds. This is a totally optional thing. This is something that I'm just adding to give a little extra nutrition level, because the theobroma in these coffee grounds is very healthy. It might make it a little bit gritty. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's gonna work well. The cacao powder gives it that extra kick of chocolate, but usually just adding one standard size chocolate bar is gonna do the trick. And I do recommend that you go with a dark chocolate that's healthier for you, so that your treat is still nutritious, because this is supposed to sustain me when I'm on the run and I need a quick snack and I forgot to bring something with me, or I'm not at a restaurant that there's anything I can eat. I have a very limited diet, and so this is going to help fill my belly in those times of need, but it also is super delicious, and it's like I'm cheating because it's so sweet and good and yummy. So for me, I use it as a dessert, and then I have some in my purse just in case I need it when I'm out and about. All right, so I've added my coconut and my chocolate bar, and I'm gonna go ahead and puree it again, but I might need a little bit of coconut oil. that helps blend it a little bit better and stick together, but very small amount because you don't want it to become greasy. So I am going to go ahead and add some coconut oil, just about a spoon or two, just to get it to blend a little better. You see, just a little bit, and we're going to blend it again, and it should be done. This is literally like the easiest recipe ever. That's all you got to do is blend the ingredients in your food processor, and then you press them into either a greased pan or a pan lined with saran wrap. I like to do the saran wrap because then I can just pull it out and cut it up into bars. Alright, so to test to see if you've got the right consistency, you just take a ball out and just squeeze it in your hand. If it holds together, you are done. Perfect, right? So these actually could be made into balls if you wanted to, and then rolled into cocoa powder even. Or you could press them into the pan and make them into bars. So I've lined my pan with saran wrap. You can also use an oil base if you want to, like I said earlier. And I'm just going to, alright, so you just pour enough in there that you can create a layer. However thick you want your bars to be is how much you put in, depending on the size of your pan and how big your recipe you made. So then you just press it in. You can use a greased spatula if you want, if you don't want to use your hand. I use my hands for everything, but I always wash them before I do anything with food, so no worries on any germs being shared here. So you press it in, keeping all the edges down so there's no like thin pieces or fat pieces along the edges. I don't know, I get a little OCD about keeping it even, so, but keeping it tight, no air pockets, making sure that it's level all the way across, and then just check your thickness. If that's how thick you want your bars, then you are good to go. If not, you can add more. I'll just use this for another bowl or possibly even some little balls. That way the kids and I can have that, and these can be chopped up and brought to the conference for me to snack on while I'm traveling. Alright, so now I'm going to cover this and put it in the fridge overnight so that I can cut it up nicely tomorrow. When I cut it up, I'm going to package it into individual serving sizes. You can freeze some individually wrapped for later use, or you can just keep it in your fridge. They will last on the counter just fine for a couple of days or so, but after that you want to make sure that it you refrigerate it so that it doesn't become rancid. So I hope that this recipe has helped you. I hope that it is something that you can enjoy with your family. My kids love these things. I've had an assistant sitting here picking pieces off to eat the entire time. And he is anxiously waiting for me to see what I'm gonna do with this bowl of extra. So thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots. So Dalton and I have done some experimenting, and we decided cocoa powder with just a little bit of powdered sugar to take the bitter edge off makes the perfect Monabars. What do you think, Dalton?
I'm gonna eat all of these.
I think you might eat all of them. Try to save some for the boys. So this is what we're gonna snack on between now and the conference. Hopefully they won't eat them all in one night. But look at that. Wait, move your hand. Look at that. How perfect and cute is that? It's like a little truffle ball, but it's healthy and nutritious.